In the golden era of the 1960s, GM unleashed some of the fiercest muscle cars ever built, but a few ultra-rare variants slipped under the radar. These are the 15 muscle cars that ruled the streets and vanished before most could catch them. Number 15, 1968, Pontiac GTO Ram Air 2. The 1968 Pontiac GTO Ram Air 2 was a very special muscle car. Pontiac first started making fast cars in the 1960s, and the GTO was one of the most famous. In 1968, Pontiac made the GTO even better with the Ram Air 2 option. This new version was made to be really fast and powerful, especially for people who liked drag racing. The GTO in 1968 had a cool new design that many people liked. It looked stylish and could be customized with different options. The base GTO had 350 horsepower, which was already strong, but the Ram Air 2 option gave the car 360 horsepower, making it faster and better for racing. This option was for serious fans who wanted a car that could compete on the drag strip. One important thing about the Ram Air 2 was that it did not come with special wings or spoilers. It looked almost the same as other GTOs from the outside, so it was a bit of a secret power. The Ram Air 2 package cost about $630 at the time, which would be around $4,200 in 2013 money. What made the Ram Air 2 special was the engine parts. It had better heads to help airflow, a new camshaft designed by a computer, and strong forged steel parts inside the engine. The compression was high at 10.75 to 1, which helped it make more power. Also, it had a special 4-speed manual transmission and very strong rear gears that made the car faster in the quarter mile. Only 246 Pontiac GTO Ram Air 2 cars were made, which makes it very rare today. Out of these, 199 had the 4-speed manual transmission, and 47 had an automatic transmission. Because so few were built, these cars are very valuable to collectors. Even though the Ram Air 2 was only made for a short time, from May to July 1968, it is famous for its strong performance. Some people even say it was better than the newer Ram Air 3 that came out in 1969. Today, a good condition 1968 Pontiac GTO Ram Air 2 is worth about $86,000. The best ones, in perfect condition, can sell for much more. This car is a great example of muscle car history and is loved by many car fans because it is fast, rare, and very powerful. Number 14, 1969, Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 is one of the rarest muscle cars ever made, with only 69 examples produced. This scarcity alone makes it a standout in muscle car history. But rarity only tells part of the story. This Camaro was far from ordinary. It was the most powerful, fastest, and most extreme Camaro ever built, equipped with an engine so extraordinary that even Chevrolet hesitated to offer it to the public. The ZL1 was designed with a single goal: to dominate drag racing. Chevrolet had already built some fierce machines, like the 427 Yenko Camaro and the legendary L88 Corvette. But the ZL1 pushed boundaries even further. Beneath the hood was a 427 cubic inch V8 engine, crafted almost entirely from aluminum. This made it lighter than a typical engine, but also stronger, more advanced, and capable of producing over 500 horsepower. That level of power was astonishing for a street car in the late 1960s. Originally, this engine was created for the Can-Am Racing Series, where open-wheel race cars tore around tracks at incredible speeds. Against expectations, Chevrolet managed to fit this racing powerhouse into a street-legal Camaro. Vince Piggins, one of Chevrolet's performance experts, ensured the ZL1 Camaro was produced through a secretive program called the Central Office Production Order, or COPO. This program was usually used for fleet vehicles, such as police cars and taxis, but a few savvy dealers discovered they could use it to build high-performance cars. One dealer, Fred Gibb, pushed for the ZL1 package to be offered for the Camaro. Chevrolet had to build at least 50 cars to qualify for National Hot Rod Association racing, so they ended up making 69. On the drag strip, the ZL1 was a beast, With standard tires and factory exhaust, it could cover the quarter mile in just over 13 seconds. With simple upgrades, slick tires, headers, and tuning, it ran in the 11-second range, reaching speeds over 120 miles per hour. This made it the fastest Chevrolet ever sold to the public at that time. However, the ZL1 package was expensive, over $4,000, nearly twice the cost of a regular Camaro. Because of this, many remained unsold at dealerships, and some had their engines removed to be sold separately. Today, these Camaros are some of the most valuable ever made, each a true legend of power and speed. Number 13, 1966 Pontiac GTO 389 XS Ram Air. The 1966 Pontiac GTO 389 XS Ram Air is one of the rarest muscle cars ever made. While the regular 1966 GTO was a huge hit and sold about 96,000 cars in just 1 year, the XS Ram Air version was very different and very rare. Pontiac only built 190 XS code engines that year, and experts believe that only about 180 of them were actually put into cars. To make the GTO even faster, Pontiac added a special performance package. This included a stronger camshaft and new valve springs. These changes helped the engine breathe better and work harder at high speeds. The engine was still rated at 360 horsepower, just like the regular tri-power version, but the real power was likely more. This car also came with a cold air Ram Air system, which pulled cool air into the engine to make even more power. Around January of 1966, Pontiac began putting this special Ram Air package on some tri-power GTOs. The Ram Air system came in the trunk, and the car dealer had to cut open the hood and install the special air pan during setup. This made the car better for racing and gave it a unique performance edge. One person who owns a rare XS Ram Air GTO is Tom Graves from Colorado. His brother bought the car in the early 1990s, and later Tom bought it from him for $1,000 and some car parts. The car had been sitting in a yard for years and needed a full restoration. Tom and his son Brian worked together to fix it up, keeping it as original as possible. They took the whole car apart, fixed the frame, repainted the body in blue charcoal color, and rebuilt the engine. The engine kept many original parts, but it now runs a little smoother with modern upgrades like a better spark system. The exhaust was upgraded too, using bigger pipes and special mufflers. Because so few were made, the 1966 Pontiac GTO 389 XS Ram Air is a rare and special car. Number 12, 1969 Oldsmobile Hurst Cha Olds. The 1969 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds showed that even a serious car company like Oldsmobile could have fun building a muscle car. This special car was made to stand out and go fast, and it was built with the help of Hurst, a company known for making race-ready car parts. Let's begin with how the Hurst Olds looked. It came in a bold white paint job with shiny gold stripes called Fire Frost Gold. These colors made it look very different from regular cars. On the hood was a large fiberglass scoop with HO 455 written on each side. It was not just for looks. It helped bring cool air into the engine to make it run better. On the back was a big spoiler called an airfoil that helped push the car down on the road. This gave it more grip, especially at high speeds. At 60 miles per hour, it gave 15 pounds of downforce, and at 120 miles per hour, it gave 64 pounds. Next, let's talk about what was under the hood. The Hurst Olds had a huge 455 cubic inch V8 engine. This engine used a special W46 package that gave it powerful parts like a strong camshaft, special cylinder heads, and forced air induction. Even though it had 10 less horsepower than the year before, it still had more than enough power. The car had a fast-shifting automatic transmission made by Hurst called the dual-gate shifter, which let drivers control the gears in a sporty way. Now, moving to features, the car came with a heavy-duty suspension to handle all that power. It had wide polyglass tires on 7-inch wheels to grip the road. There were power front disc brakes, special racing mirrors from England, and custom headrests inside. Air conditioning was optional if you wanted extra comfort. This car was rare. only 914 were made that year. That makes the 1969 Hurst Olds a very hard car to find today. It was built to compete with other muscle cars like the Pontiac GTO and showed that Oldsmobile could build something exciting too. Well, it ended a golden time of pure muscle cars. With its wild looks, strong engine, and limited production, it became a favorite among car fans. Even today, collectors remember it as one of the great muscle cars from the late 1960s. Number 11. 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle Z16. In 1965, Chevrolet made a daring move by transforming their mid-sized Chevelle with a potent new power plant, a massive 396 cubic inch engine. This was not just another Chevelle model. It was the exclusive Chevelle Z16 SS 396, a muscle car so rare that only 200 were ever built. Chevrolet kept this model under wraps. It was never advertised widely, omitted from dealer brochures, and only a select few could ever purchase one. This was Chevrolet's way of creating something truly special and limited. At first sight, the Z16 appeared much like a standard Chevelle SS. It was produced solely as a hardtop coupe and was available in just 3 striking colors: red, black, and yellow. The exterior featured modest black and chrome accents, discrete 396 emblems, and distinctive mag-style wheel covers. To casual observers, it could be mistaken for any other Chevelle, but true car enthusiasts recognized it as a street-legal powerhouse designed to turn heads. Inside, Chevrolet spared no expense equipping the Z16 with nearly every available comfort and feature of the time. It boasted bucket seats, a padded dashboard, and a speedometer that read up to 160 miles per hour. Quite rare for mid-size cars in that era. Power-assisted steering and brakes were standard, making it easier to control despite the large engine under the hood. Comfort was not the main priority for buyers. They were drawn by the car's performance potential. The beating heart of the Z16 was its 396 cubic inch V8 engine, which generated an impressive 375 horsepower. This model was Chevrolet's showcase for their new engine technology. It was offered exclusively with a 4-speed manual transmission, giving drivers complete command over its powerful performance. The car also incorporated heavy-duty components borrowed from the larger Chevrolet Impala, including a strengthened frame and upgraded brakes and suspension, ensuring the vehicle could withstand the additional horsepower without issue. Today, discovering one is incredibly difficult, and owning one demands a substantial investment. This car remains a shining example of Chevrolet's bold engineering and muscle car heritage. Number 10. 1961 Chevrolet Impala SS 409. In 1961, Chevrolet produced 142 Impala Super Sport models, equipped with the powerful 409 cubic inch engine. While the production number might appear limited, this car's influence was immense. It marked the arrival of Chevrolet's first ever Super Sport, a vehicle that carved its place in muscle car history and even earned a nod in a popular Beach Boys song. The 1961 Impala showcased a fresh new design. Gone were the extravagant fins of the previous decade, replaced by a sleeker, more contemporary style. It was still a large automobile, but combined elegance with muscle, creating an unmistakable presence. What truly distinguished the Super Sport variant was what Chevrolet engineered beneath the surface. The SS package wasn't just about aesthetics. It included an upgraded suspension, sintered iron brake linings for improved stopping power, and a distinctive grab bar on the dashboard for passengers bold enough to hold on. At its core was the 409 cubic inch V8 engine. This wasn't just any motor, it was a powerhouse. Based on Chevrolet's 348 cubic inch V8, but bored and stroked for extra displacement. It featured significant enhancements. The engine was fitted with an aluminum intake manifold, forged aluminum pistons, and a camshaft designed for high performance. Its compression ratio of 11.25 to 1 enabled it to generate 360 horsepower and 409 pound-feet of torque, impressive figures for the early 1960s. Coupled with a 4-speed manual transmission and the ideal rear axle ratio, This Impala accelerated from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7 seconds and completed the quarter mile in just over 14 seconds. Such performance commanded respect at the drag strip and solidified the reputation of the Impala SS 409 as a serious muscle car. Although its production span was brief, the legacy of this supersport still echoes today. Number 9. 1963 Pontiac Catalina Swiss cheese. In the early 1960s, car companies were racing to build the fastest cars. Pontiac joined the race with a special car called the 1963 Pontiac Catalina Swiss cheese. Only 14 of these cars were ever built, which makes them very rare and special today. They were made just for racing, especially for drag racing, which is a short, fast race in a straight line. This car got its funny nickname, Swiss cheese, because Pontiac drilled more than 120 large holes into the frame to make it lighter. Just like Swiss cheese has holes, so does this car. All those holes helped cut over 400 pounds from the car's total weight. It ended up weighing about 3,308 pounds, which was much lighter than a normal Catalina. Pontiac gave this car a huge engine. It was a 421 cubic inch V8 engine that could make over 400 horsepower. Some people say it could actually make closer to 500 horsepower. That is a lot of power, especially when the car was made so light. It used 2 big carburetors and a special intake system to help the engine breathe better. Even the exhaust parts were made from aluminum to save more weight, even though they could only last for a short race. Inside the car, there were no extras like a radio or heater. The seats were simple and covered in blue vinyl. Most of the cars had a 3-speed manual transmission, although many racers swapped in a 4-speed later. The body was also made lighter with thin metal parts and some aluminum panels. Only a few units of these cars were made before Pontiac stopped building them in January of that year. Today, experts believe only 9 still exist. Because of how rare they are, one of these cars sold at an auction for more than $500,000. Number 8. 1966 Chevrolet Corvette L72. When discussing rare American muscle cars, the 1966 Chevrolet Corvette 427 cubic inch L72 engine immediately captures attention, with only slightly more than 5,000 Corvettes ever built. Featuring this powerhouse, it remains a symbol of exclusivity and performance. Chevrolet had just introduced big block engines to the Corvette lineup the previous year, but in 1966, they raised the bar by releasing the 427 cubic inch V8 engine. This upgrade created an iconic version that enthusiasts still revere. What sets this model apart is that 1966 was the sole year Chevrolet offered the L72 engine option in the Corvette, making it a rare and highly coveted machine today. Back then, this was the top-of-the-line choice for drivers who demanded maximum power and performance. Beneath the hood, the engine delivered a formidable 425 horsepower, enough to thrill anyone behind the wheel. It was engineered for speed and equipped with features like the K66 transistor ignition system that ensured a stronger and more dependable spark. Complementing this was the N14-side dual exhaust system, which amplified the engine's thunderous sound. However, the car's excellence extended beyond just the engine. It featured an M21 close-ratio 4-speed manual transmission, ideal for harnessing and controlling all that raw power. The Corvette also came with Chevrolet's Positraction rear differential, which enhanced grip during rapid acceleration. Moreover, it boasted some of the finest suspension and braking components available at the time. The J56 heavy-duty brake package was an exceptionally rare option, paired with the F41 special suspension setup. This combination ensured that the Corvette was handled like a race car and was capable of high-speed precision and control. Aesthetics played a huge role in the car's appeal. Finished in Mosport green, a hue offered only during the 1966 model year, it immediately stood out on the road. Adding to its exclusivity were the P48 cast aluminum knockoff wheels, an expensive upgrade that few opted for. The interior was equally impressive, outfitted with black leather seating, a teakwood telescoping steering wheel, and power windows. However, this Corvette was crafted to dominate not just streets, but also racetracks and the hearts of collectors worldwide. Number 7, 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am was the first time Pontiac used the Trans Am name, and it became the top version of the Firebird. This car was made to look fast and drive fast, with special parts and design features that made it stand out. All of these cars came in a color called Cameo White, with bright blue racing stripes. These colors were chosen to match the American racing colors used in international competitions. Each car had a strong engine called a 400 cubic inch V8. This engine was known as the Ram Air 3, and it made 335 horsepower. There was also an even stronger version called the Ram Air 4, which made 345 horsepower and had some special parts to boost performance. The interesting part is that the Trans Am was made for people who liked powerful engines and strong handling. It had tough suspension parts, wide tires, and a special kind of power steering that made turning easier at high speeds. The hood had air inlets that the driver could open and close, which helped the engine breathe better. It also had fiberglass scoops near the fenders and a large rear spoiler to improve how the car was handled on the road. Inside, the Trans Am had bucket seats and a simple design like other Firebirds. But drivers could choose cool extras like a rally cluster with a 160 miles per hour speedometer and an 8,000 revolutions per minute tachometer. One option is to even let drivers see a rev counter mounted right on the hood. Even though this car had a lot of power, what made it truly special was how well it could handle turns. Test drivers said it could take corners fast without needing to slow down much. That was a big deal back then. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am had only 697 units built, and that makes it very valuable to collectors today. Even though it started small, it quickly became Pontiac's most loved performance car. Number 6, 1966, Oldsmobile 442 W30. The 1966 Oldsmobile 442 W30 had strong parts made just for racing and was built to go fast. Oldsmobile gave it a big engine and special tools to help it breathe better and move quicker than most cars on the road. The engine was a 400 cubic inch V8 with a special tri-carburetor setup called the L69. This meant it had 3 two-barrel carburetors to help mix air and fuel faster. It made up to 360 horsepower and over 440 pound-feet of torque. These numbers helped the W30 move quickly and feel powerful. Drivers could even change it from a regular street car to a track car just by turning a piece inside the engine. Soon after, Oldsmobile added the W30 package, which made the car even stronger. It had a special camshaft, faster air intake, and better engine parts. Air scoops in the front bumper helped cool air get to the engine faster. Because of these big tubes, the battery had to move to the trunk. That also helped the car balance better while driving fast. The W30 cars also came with a special axle, heavy-duty parts, and a fast rear-end gear. Many people believe it actually made close to 390 horsepower, even though the company said less. Only 54 of these cars were built, making it one of the rarest muscle cars of all time. Some people say this car was the fastest Oldsmobile ever made. It was light, had a strong body, and came ready to race. The one you see today still looks new after many years, showing how well it was cared for. The Oldsmobile 442 W30 was not just a car, it was a piece of muscle car history, built for fun and speed. Number 5, 1969 Chevrolet Yenko Camaro. The 1969 Chevrolet Yenko Camaro, with just a little more than 200 of these extraordinary vehicles built, has become a true legend among enthusiasts. What makes this Camaro exceptional goes beyond its limited quantity. It lies in its origin story, the visionary behind it, and the incredible performance that earned it a fearsome reputation on the streets. Don Yenko was far more than a typical car dealer. He had a clear vision and a deep understanding of how to make an already fast Camaro even more powerful. His dealership in Pennsylvania gained fame for transforming standard Camaros into high-performance beasts. For years, Yenko had been swapping in larger engines by hand, but the process was costly and labor-intensive. To streamline things, he struck a deal with Chevrolet to install the powerful engine during the manufacturing process. By using a discrete ordering system, Chevrolet agreed to produce Camaros equipped with a potent 427 cubic inch engine. delivering well over 400 horsepower right from the factory. This arrangement allowed the factory to handle the complex engine swap, while Yenko added his own unique touches. The finished cars sported custom badges, exclusive accessories, and performance enhancements that made them quicker, tougher, and ready to rule the roads. Every Yenko Camaro was equipped with performance features designed for speed and control. Buyers could choose between a manual or automatic transmission paired with a heavy-duty rear axle, featuring lower gear ratios for rapid acceleration. The cars came with a distinctive ducted hood to improve airflow and upgraded cooling components to manage the increased power. Yenko also specified a racing-style speedometer, larger wheels, and a firmer suspension setup to sharpen handling. One of the first Yenko Camaros ever made had an adventurous history. After leaving the factory, it found its way to Yenko himself, who likely used it as a test vehicle. It suffered damage in a crash, was left unused for several years, and later restored to its original condition. Today, this car is celebrated as the very first Yenko Camaro ever produced, a true icon of muscle car heritage. Number 4. 1969 Chevrolet COPO Camaro 9560 Iron Block ZL1. In 1969, Chevrolet produced just 69 COPO Camaro 9560 models, ranking it among the rarest muscle cars ever built. This Camaro was far from ordinary. It was a street-legal drag racer, engineered to dominate the strip and outperform nearly every other car on the road. Under its hood sat a massive 427 cubic inch V8 engine, boasting more power than even the legendary Corvette. The story behind this Camaro's creation lies in a special factory program called the Central Office Production Order, or COPO. Normally, Chevrolet restricted engine sizes in Camaros to under 400 cubic inches. However, Fred Gibb, a visionary dealership owner, had a bold idea. He wanted a Camaro capable of smashing the competition in National Hot Rod Association drag racing. Using the COPO system, he ordered a limited run of Camaros equipped with General Motors' most potent engine. This was not a typical V8. It was an all-aluminum unit originally developed for Can-Am racing cars, making the Camaro incredibly powerful, but also quite costly. Due to its steep price tag, almost twice that of a standard Camaro, the COPO model was difficult to sell. Gibb had hoped to move all of them through his dealership, but many potential buyers were hesitant. As a result, several cars were distributed to other dealerships to find owners. Some even had their engines removed for use in other racing applications. On the drag strip, the COPO Camaro was a force to be reckoned with. When expertly tuned and equipped with racing tires, it could complete the quarter mile in just over 10 seconds. Unfortunately, most of these cars were pushed hard, heavily modified, or damaged over time. Today, locating a COPO Camaro 9560 in original condition is an extraordinary challenge, cementing its place as a true muscle car icon. Number 3. 1969 Buick GS 400 Stage 1. The 1969 Buick GS 400 Stage 1. When people think of muscle cars, they usually think of names like Chevrolet, Pontiac, or Ford. But Buick made some powerful cars too. Even though Buick cars cost a little more, they were strong, fast, and full of cool features. One special Buick from that time is the GS 400 Stage 1. Back in the late 60s, Buick wanted to join the muscle car world. In the year 1967, Buick made a new big engine with 400 cubic inches. It had 350 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. That means it was really strong when you stepped on the gas. In 1968, they added a cowl induction hood to help the engine breathe better, even though the numbers stayed the same. By 1969, Buick gave the GS a new system called Cool Dual Induction. This helped cool air get into the engine faster, making it stronger. But Buick still said it had the same horsepower. That confused some people. What made the Stage 1 version special was its bigger valves, stronger springs, better carburetor, and stronger fuel pump. These changes gave it 10 more horsepower than the regular GS. This car also came with heavy-duty suspension and strong brakes. It had special wheels and white-wall tires, too. Only 1,256 Stage 1 hardtop coupes were made that year, and even fewer had a 4-speed manual transmission and air conditioning. Experts believe only around 80 cars were made, with all those features together, because of how few were made and how strong and special they were. The 1969 Buick GS 400 Stage 1 is a rare treasure in the muscle car world. Number 2. 1963 Chevrolet Impala Z11. In 1963, Chevrolet created a car that should have become legendary. Fast, powerful, and designed to dominate drag racing, this machine was built in extremely limited numbers, 57 units, but official records only confirm 50 of them. Instead of rising to fame, the Chevrolet Impala Z11 disappeared into obscurity, leaving behind only rumors and a mystique that car enthusiasts still chase today. At that time, General Motors was taking a cautious approach, forbidding factory-backed racing and avoiding the use of massive engines that could compete in the horsepower battles raging between other American automakers. Meanwhile, Ford and Chrysler were putting monstrous engines into their cars, with Chrysler's 426 cubic inch Hemi engine ruling the drag strips. Chevrolet, however, quietly held a secret weapon, an engine with the power to challenge the Hemi, the 427 cubic inch Z11 V8. The Z11 engine was far from ordinary. It was an evolution of Chevrolet's legendary 409 cubic inch engine, but featured a longer stroke that increased its displacement and power output. It came equipped with a large aluminum intake manifold, 2 4-barrel carburetors, and an impressive compression ratio of 13.5 to 1. This allowed the engine to consume fuel aggressively and produce a staggering 430 horsepower and 575 pound-feet of torque. Such force could propel a car down the quarter-mile faster than nearly any competitor. But raw power was only part of the story. The Impala Z11 was engineered as a lightweight contender, shedding nearly 500 pounds through the use of aluminum panels. Every non-essential component was removed, turning it into a genuine factory-built drag racer. The result was breathtaking performance. With 0 to 60 miles per hour, times just over 4 seconds, and quarter-mile runs clocked at 10.8 seconds. Despite its incredible potential, Chevrolet's self-imposed ban on racing ensured that the Z11 never reached production for street use and never got to battle the Hemi in public. Number 1. 1961 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz convertible. The 1961 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz convertible was a very special car that showed off style, power, and class. In the early 1960s, cars were big, shiny, and full of details. Cadillac was one of the top car brands, and the Eldorado was one of the most expensive Cadillacs you could buy, except for a limousine. Let's start with how it looked. In the 1950s, Cadillac cars were famous for their big tail fins. By 1961, the fins were still there, but smaller and smoother. This made the car look a little more grown-up, but still exciting. The body was long and low, with lots of chrome trim that sparkled in the sun. It had a wide front grille, sleek sides, and a fancy interior that matched the outside color. The dashboard looked like a jukebox, with shiny buttons and lights. Now, let's talk about how the car worked. All 1961 Cadillacs came with a strong 390 cubic inch V8 engine. This engine made 325 horsepower at 4,800 revolutions per minute. That meant it was fast and smooth. It used a 4-barrel carburetor and was connected to a 4-speed hydromatic automatic transmission, which helped the car drive easily. The suspension used rubber springs instead of air, which worked better. It also had power brakes and power steering, making the big car easier to control. Moving on to the features, the Eldorado Biarritz came with power windows, power seats, white wall tires, and even a remote-controlled trunk lock. It also had power vent windows, which were small extra windows near the front doors. These things made the car feel fancy and fun to ride in. Inside, the seats were soft and covered in high-quality materials, giving passengers a very comfortable ride. What makes this car really rare is how few were made. Out of 138,379 Cadillacs built that year, only 1,450 were Eldorado Biarritz convertibles. That makes it a very hard car to find today. Even though the 1961 Eldorado was a little smaller than past models, it still had a bold look. People who wanted to show they had good taste and money often picked this car. Cadillac remained the top name in luxury cars at the time, beating other brands like Lincoln and Imperial. Because of its beauty, power, and rarity, the 1961 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz convertible is still loved by car fans today. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content.